You know that feeling, right? You're laser focused on something important, maybe you're miles from an outlet, and that laptop, the one that used to go all day, is just gasping for life. So, what is actually going on inside that battery?
It's that sinking feeling, isn't it? That little battery icon flips to red and boom, instant panic. Your whole workflow is suddenly on a countdown timer. And you're sitting there thinking, this thing felt invincible when I bought it. Now it feels like it's got some secret life draining all the power.
So, what gives? Is it just getting old? Is this just what happens? Or are our daily habits, the little things we do every single day, silently killing it? All right, let's get into it and figure this out. Okay, so this is where we get into the mystery of why these batteries fade. And believe me, this isn't just about your personal frustration. This is a huge global problem. We're talking real environmental and economic impacts here. Understanding why they die is really the first step to, well, breaking the cycle. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, look at this number. 500 million. That's how many new laptop batteries are made every single year. It's a massive industry that basically exists because our batteries are wearing out, and honestly, way faster than they really should be. Okay, so to really get a handle on why batteries age, we gotta talk about something called a charge cycle. Now, the best way to think about this is like the odometer on your car, not the gas gauge. A cycle isn't just plugging it in one time. It's when you've used up a total of 100% of the battery's power. So you could go from 100 down to 0. That's one cycle. Or you could go from, say, 80% down to 30%, 2 times. That also adds up to one full cycle. The thing is, every battery only has a certain number of these cycles in it before it starts to really degrade. All right, now let's talk about what happens when you plug in. This is where it gets really interesting, because most of us probably think the power just goes straight into the battery, right? Well, modern laptops are actually way, way smarter than that. See, it's not just a dumb charging port. Your laptop has a little brain just for power. It's technically called a battery management system, or BMS for short. Think of it like a really smart gatekeeper for all the electricity coming in, constantly making decisions to protect the battery and run everything as efficiently as possible. So here's how that whole dynamic power path thing works. You plug in your adapter. The very first thing the system does is send power directly to run the laptop itself. It prioritizes the system first. Then, whatever power is left over, that's what it uses to charge the battery. And get this, if you're doing something really intense, like gaming, and the adapter is struggling to provide enough juice, the battery will actually jump in and help the adapter. It's amazing. The laptop is smart enough to bypass the battery whenever it can, which saves it a ton of unnecessary wear and tear. Okay, so if the laptop is so smart, why do our batteries still die? It's a good question. And the answer is that every battery is fighting a war on 2 fronts. There's this silent battle going on inside between 2 totally different types of aging. On one hand, you've got what's called cyclic aging. That's the straightforward wear and tear from using up those charge cycles we just talked about. Again, think of it as the mileage on your battery. But on the other hand, there's something called calendar aging, and this is the tricky one. It's the slow, natural decay that happens over time, no matter what. It happens even when you're not using the battery at all. And this quote really nails what drives that calendar aging. Keeping a battery at 100% charge, it's like constantly flexing a muscle. It just puts the battery under a ton of stress. And just like holding that flexed muscle, it's totally exhausting for the battery's chemistry and wears it out so much faster than just letting it, relax at a lower charge. Yeah, this is what we can call the 100% stress trap. And honestly, it's probably the biggest mistake pretty much all of us make. That constant high voltage from being full is basically rocket fuel for calendar aging. It's just silently cooking your battery while your laptop sits there, plugged in. But as bad as keeping it at 100% is, there is one enemy that's even worse. A villain that just supercharges every single kind of battery damage. And that enemy is heat. Let's be super clear about this. Heat is public enemy number 1 for your battery, full stop. It just accelerates all those nasty chemical reactions inside and causes permanent damage faster than pretty much anything else. And I'm not talking about, leaving your laptop in a hot car. We're talking about the heat it generates itself. A gaming laptop that's working hard can easily hit 60 degrees Celsius inside. That's 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That is seriously hot, and it's basically cooking your battery from the inside out. So what happens when you combine our 2 biggest enemies? the 100% stress trap, and all that heat? Well, the result is devastating. A battery that's kept at that super high temperature and at a 100% charge can lose a whopping 40% of its total capacity. And get this, in just 3 months. That's not just aging, that's catastrophic failure. Okay, so that's the doom and gloom. That's the science of why your battery is dying. But here's the good news. You have way more control over this than you probably think. So let's switch gears and talk about some simple but really powerful habits that can basically help you fight back. All right, if you take away only one thing, make it this: the 20-80 rule. The idea is to try and keep your battery charge somewhere between 20 and 80%. This is the sweet spot. You avoid the stress of being totally full and you avoid the strain of being totally empty. Just this one little change absolutely crushes both kinds of aging we talked about.
Next up, we have to fight the heat. Seriously. Stop using your laptop on a bed or a pillow. I know it's comfy, but all that soft fabric just blocks the air vents and traps all the heat inside. You gotta use it on a hard, flat surface. Keep those vents clear of dust. And hey, even a cheap laptop stand can work wonders for airflow. These are simple physical things, but they make a huge, huge difference. And here's the really cool part. You don't even have to obsessively watch the battery percentage yourself. Your laptop can do the work for you. Almost all the big manufacturers, Dell, HP, Lenovo, you name it, they have battery care features built right in. You can literally go into your settings right now and just tell your computer, hey, stop charging at 80%. It's that easy. So when you lay it all out, the choice is pretty clear, right? You've got the old way, just plugging it in and letting it sit at 100% for hours. That's the high-stress, worst possible option. Then there's trying to do it yourself, unplugging it at 80%. That's better, for sure, but who's going to remember to do that every time? And then you have smart charging, using the software to automate it. That is absolutely the gold standard. It takes the stress off automatically and can add years to your battery's life.
And really, here's the big takeaway. This isn't about being scared to use your expensive machine. It's not about using your laptop less. It is all about just charging it smarter. That's the whole game. So that brings us to the final thought here. When you realize that just a few tiny habits, like flipping a switch in your settings or just not using your laptop on a pillow, can save your battery, save you a bunch of money, and even cut down on e-waste, it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? So what's the one change you're going to make today?
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more How Meets History.